Hi, my name is Danny Carroll. I'm the author of a book, Terminal Cancer is a Misdiagnosis. This interview today is being carried out as a part of the celebration of the 87th birthday of Dr. Richard Geert Hummer. Dr. Hummer is the founder of a medical science called Germanic New Medicine, or otherwise known as Germanisch Heilkunde. Today I'm interviewing Mr. Shyam Mehta. Shyam, I will allow him to introduce himself, but very briefly, Shyam is based in Mumbai. He's a senior advocate, a lawyer, a barrister as a profession, also the president of the Amateur Riders Club and a polo player. Shyam, hi, how are you? Nice to see you.
Hi, Danny. Lovely to see you, as always.
So I've given a very brief introduction about you and your many qualities, Shyam. Tell the audience, how did you come across and discover the medical discoveries of Dr. Richard Geert Hummer, German medicine, or Germanisch Heilkunde?
Well, it was you, Danny, so...
That's why I said tell the audience, not tell me, right?
Yeah, tell the audience. Well, for the audience to know, it was Danny, and for which I'm ever grateful, not only to him, of course, but also to the Almighty, because it has changed my life. So I got introduced to Germanic New Medicine through Danny, who I met actually really on the polo field. And from polo, we started talking, and one fine day after a long time, actually, Danny, it was not initially.
Years after we met, Shyam, right?
Sorry?
It was years after we met.
Exactly, a couple of years, and then I never bother about who's doing what in his life. It doesn't matter to me. If I get on and we get on, we are friends and we keep going. But one day I thought, let me ask him, what do you do, for a living? Or what do you do? How do you spend your time? And he said, I heal people. And that's it. It went straight into my heart, deep in, because it resonated with my subconscious mind, I guess. And I said, you got to tell me how you do this. And I think before he even finished telling me for 5 minutes, I said, I got to learn this. That's it. And then Danny, of course, was so good as to teach me and show me the ways and give me some literature. And online, I started reading things and watching some online videos of all the famous practitioners. And then I picked it up a little bit, and then I keep asking Danny every time, and he helps me along. And I've been using it since then, maybe now 2 years. And in fact, I think it was destined, because I think, Danny, we spoke about this just before the lockdown.
And early 2020, right?
2019, late 2019. Yeah, and
late 2019.
I just then bought myself an iPad. I'm a little technologically backward, and I didn't even have one till then. I bought it and I said, okay, Danny, now you show me all the websites and I will start looking. And I didn't do anything, nothing, till the world got locked down, including India, in March, 23rd March, I still remember. And I was at my farmhouse and I was there for 3-4 months. And then I said, now what? There's nothing for me to do. So GNM it was every day, GNM, reading, watching the videos online, looking, and I'm not a doctor, so medical terms have to be understood. So checking them on Google, and those 3 months were just 3 months in the lockdown were actually outstanding for me. I know it may not have been for a lot of people, but they changed my life. They changed my life, and I'm so ever grateful for that.
Do you recall our first discussion, Shyam, that we had? Do you remember that?
Yes, it was in the veranda at my farmhouse. And, I just casually asked you, and you said, I do this. And I said, what is this? And then I think I was like a kid, because it went so deep into my heart and resonated with me that I wanted to know everything from you. And then I asked you more questions, and then you told me so much about it. And then we also discussed, if I remember, left brain, right brain. Then you said I'm probably a cockeyed brain or something.
do you remember the discussion we had on the issue that you faced with psoriasis on your forehead?
Yes, absolutely. You're absolutely right. You're right. And then it struck me.
Just give us some background as to what happened, Shyam. And
yes, I must. Years before I met Danny, years and years and years, possibly in the early 2000s, 2001, 2, 3 onwards, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. Every time I played polo and came back home, I had my forehead with a rash. And today, of course, I can't say what it was, maybe psoriasis, maybe some acne, maybe something, but it was a rash. And Danny, of course, has figured it out that it was something to do with, it was a epidermal rash, so that therefore it's something to do with separation. So anyway, every time I went to play polo, came back, and I had this. I tried everything, like all normal people, doctors. Of course, I refuse to take any medicines orally. Even fortunately, I'm not one of those who believes in continuously popping pills or consuming steroids. I don't do all that. So I said I tried everything. Caladril. One of my doctors said apply Caladril on the forehead. I did that. Didn't work. Another one said, why don't you wear a handkerchief or something? Maybe it's something to do with the helmet, some dirt, etc. I tried that. Didn't work. Nothing worked. Nothing worked. And one fine day, it stopped. And I have to say why. It's a little bit personal, but never mind. I'll just indicate it. I left my wife and I started living on my own. And the rash vanished. I played polo. I came back. There was nothing. Absolutely fine. But it didn't strike me as odd that time. I just thought I had healed in some way or the other. It had cured itself. I never knew it had something to do with something going on in my mind. I thought it was something and it has healed and, never paid attention. Then I met Danny. And when he told me about GNM, I mentioned this incident to him and this rash. And he started asking me, why the forehead? He started thinking, why the forehead? And then we figured, rather he figured, not me, that it was the helmet. The helmet, when I wore it, it was across my forehead, the polo helmet. And that was the connection between the rash, because it was connected to the polo. So I said, how can it be connected to the polo? So now this is how it is. My wife always had an issue with me playing polo. She always, who is first? Is polo first or am I first? It was just something in her head. And I always said, you're first, but I still have to play polo. I enjoy the game. So what happened was that I started feeling separated from the sport and I thought maybe I shouldn't be playing. So in my mind, every time I went to play polo, it was something like a conflict. And as Danny figured it out, it was like a separation conflict. And when I played polo, the conflict ended. That was a practical resolution every time. I played, conflict ended, rash broke out on my forehead. And we figured this out. And so it all tied in, because when I moved out and there was no restriction on me playing polo, I had no rash. It just disappeared. So this was my first real learning of GNM. I had already been cured, so fortunately I didn't need to go down that road. But this was my first real learning. And then
you remember the question I asked you?
No.
I said to you, did your wife ever try to stop you from playing polo?
Yes, you did. And
you said to me, how do you know that?
She stopped me. She just didn't like it. She thought it was like a competitor, and why should you play polo on a Saturday evening instead of polo? We should go for a movie. I said we can go at night. Why only in the evening? So it was like that. She didn't like it. So in my mind, it was like, I should not be playing polo, you know. So it became a conflict of separation. And every time I played, it got resolved. So, and I got the rash. So this is how that was one thing. And then I think I told you, maybe I mentioned this to you also. I had bronchitis throughout my childhood, Danny. I had bronchitis throughout my childhood. And after learning about GNM, I figured out why I used to get it. It was some kind of a fear of fear, not of death, but fear of some kind of danger. So when I was a kid, I used to hate drinking milk like all children. They hate milk. Okay. So when I was a little kid, maybe 3-4 years old, and I remember this vividly, I used to hate drinking milk. And my maid used to take me down somewhere out. You know, we used to go out, and my mother, and I don't know if it was my mother or my maid, but possibly my maid, because I have some memory. She used to point to these Muslim women in hijabs and burqas and tell me, I was a little boy, I didn't know anything, and say these are, you know, wrongly, of course, it's very wrong of her, but she said these are ghosts and they'll take you, they're demons and they will take you if you don't drink milk. So I got scared. It was like a fear. So every time I drank milk, and I used to be forced to drink it every day, I used to just keep getting bronchitis. I used to get coughs, and then I used to take antibiotics all my life, and it just went on all my life until one day in the 90s, I mean, imagine I kept drinking milk till then without realizing it. I used to do yoga, and my yoga teacher thought I had, obviously, you know, they don't think GNM, but they think that you have some kind of allergy. So he said, you're probably intolerant to lactose or milk. Stop milk and see what happens. I stopped milk and it never came back. I never got the attack again. So I thought, oh, it was the milk. Now I know it was not the milk. The milk was a trigger to the conflict of connected to the lungs or the bronchi, some kind of conflict of feeling like I'm going to be, and my life is in danger because the demon or the ghost will take me away. And now I drink milk and nothing happens to me. Nothing happens to me. So this is the magic that I experienced. Of course, this is the past and connected to the present, because now I drink milk and nothing happens because I have no fear. I don't have any fear that anyone is going to kill me because I'm going to drink milk, and it's gone. I drink milk and nothing happens to me.
And you switched that track off.
I switched it off, obviously. I switched it off, and I did that now after learning about it. So this is how GNM works, and you know, I realize it's magic. It's absolute magic, and I do wish that everyone learns it and we can be rid of medication.
Shyam, I know you have some extraordinary personal experiences in terms of your own personal healing, right? I know you do. Okay, share them.
Yes,
come on.
I think.
I mean,
because anything to inspire the world to move towards self-healing and stop medication.
It's extraordinary, right? I mean, once you learn this, it's extraordinary.
Magic. It's magic. I keep saying magic. People don't believe me, but it's magic. The way things will, you can't believe. Like I told you, Danny, one day I came to you and I said I had a cough and cold which was going on. Not a cough really, a cold and a sore throat and pain in my left submandibular glands. Do you remember? I went to the doctor and I thought it's just a cold, and I thought it's paining for whatever reason. But the doc said this is an inflammation of the submandibular gland. So I came to you and I said, in fact, you sent me to the doc to get that opinion, because I was just taking nothing. I was taking nothing. I was just taking some fever medication. Anyway, when I told you that, you put me on the track to read and start researching on submandibular gland and the associated conflict. And then I figured it's a muscle conflict and I wanted to get rid of something. And I did share that with you, what it was in my life that I was desperate to get rid of. You know, I wanted to get that person out of my life, and it was not happening. It was hard. It was tough for me. And that's what was causing an inflammation of the submandibular gland. And when I connected that, within 5 days, I was healed. It was fine. And I know that every time I wanted that person out, even after that, I used to feel the slight pain developing, and I used to say, watch out, stop this, otherwise it's going to start again. And it never started. And I used to connect the two, and it would disappear. This was my first extraordinary experience, which was just outstanding. Then another
switched it off, just like this.
I switched it off. It just switches off. And even if one does not believe me in that, and someone believes that, no, in 5 days is enough, without medication, no medication. My doctor advised me all the antibiotics. I did not touch them. Remember, we spoke and you said, throw them away. And I didn't touch anything. Went away in 5 days. But because I was hanging healing, see, it was constantly on my mind. So it's going on, off. So that's why it took 5 days. Maybe it could have just switched off in 1 second also.
Yeah.
But my next one, my second one, which was my excruciating pain in my left hip joint. Yeah. Excruciating. That was just it was just last year. It's 2021. It started in January 2021. It was very mild. It was not much, so I didn't care. I didn't bother. Tolerable limits, no problem. But
maybe you called it playing polo or something, or
Yeah, I thought maybe it's to do with my horse riding. I may have pulled it, and I may have twisted myself or something. But it used to keep coming on and off, and I thought maybe I'm not giving it rest, so that's why it's going on. Until I was in Delhi in 21, I think it was August or September. I think it was August, yeah. And I got into an excruciating pain. Excruciating, meaning I could not walk. And I was in a meeting and I had to catch a flight. I had to come to Bombay. I had to go to my farmhouse. I had 10 friends waiting for me there. I could not walk. I barely made it to the airport, hobbling, dragging my foot, but too embarrassed to ask for a wheelchair because it was not my style. I said, how can a polo player sit in a wheelchair at the airport because of pain? Bear the pain, bear the pain. So I was bearing the pain. I barely could walk, but finally I said, all right, let me at least request one of the guys for the buggy. So that golf cart, and he took me on the golf cart to my gate because I just couldn't walk. Throughout the flight, I was in agony. Landed in Bombay, and I said, no way I can drive and go to the farm. I'm going home. Then I said, no, but they're waiting for me. They're all gone there because of me. So I said, let me go. So I drove in that pain. I went. I reached after a couple of hours. I parked my car. I couldn't walk from the car park to the house. It was so painful, and they were all wondering what's happened to it. Anyway, I reached and I told them, listen, I've got this pain and I don't know what to do. But then there was one lady there, Pilates instructor, friend of a friend. She told me to put my leg this way, that way, up, down, and it will improve. And I said, all right, I did whatever they wanted. Just, people should be made happy that you're listening to them. So I did it. But then I said that I have to sort this out in using GNM. So I started reading. At night, I started reading because I waited till everyone went to bed, or at least when I went into the room, making an excuse of the pain. And I started reading, and I figured it's a conflict of not wanting to endure something. So I started wondering, what is it that I don't want to endure? And we started in January, but I figured it out. Something to do with the work, my legal work. And I knew there was one aspect of it which always stressed me. And obviously my subconscious mind treated it as something I didn't want to endure. So I used to do it as part of my work, but it used to give me a lot of stress. And obviously it was something I didn't want to do, but I was doing because it was part of my work. But it was very hard and tough part of my work. Basically big, huge cross-examinations of witnesses, very stressful. So you need a lot of work. And that time, always, I didn't want to endure that. So I figured from January, I started recalling when were these times when the pain came. And every time it was during that same time, there was some cross-examination there. And August, September, I think there was some big ones coming up. And the pain was excruciating. And possibly because I had told myself by then that, what are you worried about all this? You're good at it. Just do it. And I had got 8 or 9 witnesses to cross-examine. And I was like, just do it. You're very good at it. Everyone says you're outstanding at it. Why are you stressing over it? And I probably went into a healing and the pain was excruciating. I said, let me try this. This has got to be it. I did it. I used the GNM way. Morning, 70% better. Next morning, I could run the marathon. Pain gone, vanished.
What did you do, Shyam?
I just told myself that this is the cause. The cause of this pain is my conflict relating to my not wanting to do these cross-examinations, which are so tedious and stressful. So the moment I connected it, and I told my subconscious mind, now forget it. I am very good at this and I'm going to crack it. So just forget it now. I'll take care of it. 70% better in the morning, 99% better in 48 hours. I could run the marathon, and I've never had that pain again till today. Never. Never. That was magic, miracle. And that told me, I mean, you know, I said, wow, this is something. No medication, no physiotherapy. Otherwise, I would have been doing 2-3 months of physiotherapy. Nothing. 48 hours healed. That's it. Outstanding. So these are a couple of my experiences. And of course, Danny, you know my daughter's experiences with psoriasis and keratitis of the eyes. And her psoriasis.
Discuss the eyes. Yeah,
So if you remember, I told you suddenly she had a ring around her cornea. There was a red ring. And you said that, look, I'm not familiar with eyes. You better first go and see a doctor, then we'll see what. We went to the doc. He said this is keratitis. And he, of course, prescribed steroids. That's all that they do for these things. So my daughter and I came home and I said, are you sure? You know, I'm anti all these steroids. And she was still a young girl. She's still young, but she was even younger then. She was probably 18 and a half old. And she said, Dad, let's do it the GNM. I'm happy. I don't want to take any medication. So we said, let's figure it out. It was the left eye. So I said, now, left eye, it's a visual separation conflict. Who are you separated from? Is it your mother who died 10 years ago? She said, no, it's not my mother. And I said, I am right here, so it can't be me. What is it? And it was the left eye. So it had to be mother or daughter, as per GNM, because she's right brain wired. So we thought, and I said, listen, it was December of 2019, I think it was. 2020, maybe, whichever year. She was to leave for America the next August. 2020, because by then I was learning GNM. So it was 2020. She was to leave for US to study in the year later, in August of 21. And we were like, even you're leaving in August 21, this is December, so what can it be? Then it struck me, because she has this crazy attachment to her doggy, and whenever I call it her dog, she says, it's not my dog, it's my daughter. So I said, could it be her? I mean, are you already feeling separated from her because you say she's my daughter? And she said, yes, it is stressing me that I'm going to stop seeing her. I'm going to miss her. And the moment we did that, it was crazy how fast her eyes healed. Crazy. They healed overnight. But the problem was the hanging healing, because she kept going. Even now she goes into it and it gets red. But she knows it. So she switches it off and it's fine. When she's in Bombay with the dog, there is no red eye. Nothing. But when she's in US and she starts feeling the missing and the separation from her dog, the eyes get red. So it's a direct link. It is proof. Not only is this proof that your thoughts and your mind is connected to the symptom, but it is also proof that you can stop it. The practical resolution is to be with the dog. And whenever she's in India, no problem. The moment she's about to leave and she starts thinking, oh my God, I'm going to miss her, I'm not going to see her, it starts. So it's proof of everything that Dr. Hammer discovered and has written and spoken about. It is absolute 100% proof. People may want to see it differently, but then, whatever resonates with them. So now she knows it. And she says also, the moment her eyes are itching, she knows, oh, I got to stop this. It's like that. And very strange, Danny, I must tell you. It's been happening again and again. So both of us discussed it last 3 days ago. That she said, why can't I just get this to stop? Because as you said, if you, as per the GNM laws, if you can go back to the first DHS, this can completely stop. But it's very hard because the first DHS does not trigger the symptom or the program.
Creates the wiring for the program.
Yeah, it starts the process, but it sets the stage. So, I asked Iana that what could it be? And I remembered that she was very, very attached to a horse who had died. And after that, she was shattered. That horse's name was Zorro, and she loved that horse to death. And that horse died of colic, and she was shattered. She's never been attached to a horse after that. The first animal was this dog. So I said, Iana, do you think it could be him? And straight away she said, yes, Dad, it has to be him. And then she messaged me because she did what she had to do as per GNM. She messaged me after 12 hours, says, my eyes have never been so clear as they are now. Can you believe that? Magic. It is magic. I keep saying that word because I want people to know that it is magic.
It's true.
Magic. And then her psoriasis, of course, that was more private. I don't wish to talk about it, but it vanished in 3 weeks. No medication, vanished. And now she knows when that conflict comes, she feels the itching, she stops instantly and it disappears. But she knows it's coming on. That's the beauty of this knowledge. You know when it's coming on and you can connect that, it's coming, stop thinking of this. It stops. It's fantastic. But there I still have to get to the first DHS to make it vanish permanently. We'll try. When she comes back now, maybe we'll go down that road. But at least she knows now that when it's itching means she's on the wrong track in her head. She has to stop thinking. She stops, it's gone. It's marvelous. Why would anyone not heal themselves? Yeah, it is a continuous process. That, of course, I have to say that you have to keep thinking about it all the time. And a time will come like it has come to me, and I'm sure with Danny and all other GNM believers. Anything happens to me, I think, if I sneeze extra, I think, oh my God, what was on my mind? Why am I sneezing so much? It's amazing. Suddenly you sneeze when you're fine, nothing's wrong, and suddenly you started sneezing. You wonder, what was I thinking of? That was a stink conflict or a smell conflict. What was it? Why am I sneezing? You don't pay attention normally because it's too minor. But now, once you know GNM, you pay attention to everything because you want to learn. Because you want to learn and you want to keep healing yourself and ensure that you're never sick. And actually, Danny, as Dr. Hammer says, the first and most important thing is be fearless. Your body is perfect. I keep telling people your body is perfect. Don't doubt it. It's perfect.
Nature never makes a single mistake, Shyam, right?
It never makes a mistake. It's all these medicines which stop the process. Now we know it. The healing is unfortunately stopped because of medicine. I mean, I don't want to say much more on that, but we are taught this from the day we are born. So we don't have a choice. It's hard to accept, hard to change because change is hard for people. Some of us are more open-minded. We don't care. We anyway don't have fear. I never had fear. So now I'm more fearless because I know my body's perfect. It'll heal itself. It's okay. If you're sick, you're sick. Stay at home and rest it out. These are my experiences with GNM, and I have to say they were marvelous, outstanding, magical.
How have you used your knowledge to help people outside of yourself and your immediate family?
Oh, I always talk to people. I've helped so many people, sometimes by myself, sometimes with your assistance, and I've helped them so much and so many. Of course, Danny, you are aware there's such a big mental block to healing yourself because everyone feels it's so much easier to take medication because this will involve thinking process, and plus, who knows, well, there's no proof of all this. People want proof. Everyone wants that 2 + 2 = 4. And they're scared to try it, and they feel if I don't take medication, I'll get worse. People around you scare the hell out of you by saying, oh, be careful, this will happen, that will happen. But if you're fearless, like Nimit, he with his thyroid issues, he was told if you stop thyroxine, you will get coma, you will go into this, you will go into that. But he was fearless. He has stopped it all, and today he cares nothing about it. He's playing polo. He's full of energy. He has no thyroid working properly after 10 years of thyroxine. But people scared him. So fear is the first thing you need to just let go. And
he was on thyroxine for more than 10 years.
10 years. You know it. Yeah, that was one of the first cases that we did together, and I learned so much from it. It was in the hard lockdown, if you remember. In the 3 months lockdown, came to my farm because he was close by at his farmhouse, and we spoke on the phone and we started the process. And but he took to it instantly. That was the thing. He took to it instantly. But people have to get rid of their fear, and people have to be courageous and have full faith. Have faith in the Lord and have faith in your body. It's perfect. Animals never take medicines. They're all healed unless they have a bad accident or something huge, big happens, a huge conflict. Otherwise, they're all healed on their own. See your own dogs. See your dog. When my dog is sick, I don't take it to a vet. I don't. My daughter used to rush to the vet, but now that she's in US and the doggy is with me, I don't take her to the vet. I watch her and see that I'm sure there's some conflict. It'll heal. It heals. Every one of them has healed. She had a big boil on her nose, and my daughter insisted, Dad, you have to take her to the vet. I said, no, I'll watch it. It took a month, but it's gone, and there's nothing, no trace of it. It healed. But if I had gone to the vet, I would have scared my doggy first because she's terrified of vets. Then the vet would have done a surgery. He would have scooped it. He would have bandaged it. And the poor baby would have been on medication and frightened and more issues. Here, I left her alone. In 1 month, it was gone. All are happy. The animal is happy. I'm happy. And my daughter is also happy. So, despite my not listening to her, take her to the dog. I said, no, I'm not taking her. You sit in US. I'm here. I will deal with her the way I want. And now she realized that, yeah, I did the right thing. She cured without a problem. So this whole thing, we must learn from animals really also. I have to say one more thing about animals. Danny, every time my daughter talks to her on the phone, because she can hear her, may not be able to recognize on the screen. She itches. The doggy itches. I'm sure it's connected to some kind of a separation thing. She starts itching all over, scratching until the conversation is over, and then she's fine after some time. But the way she itches, and she itches a lot on her nose. So my daughter said that's because I'm always playing with the nose. Maybe that's why. On the nose area, not the nose, but just in the above the nose. It's amazing. Grabbing. So I think animals also have the same.
Animals and humans biologically are wired exactly the same, right? So
it has to be, Danny, because Dr. Hammers traced it back right to the first organism, which was one cell. So I mean that they were all animals until we became human beings. So it has to be. I'm completely sold out on GNM, and I'm not a practitioner, but I help my friends. I've helped many of them with all kinds of issues, back pain, this pain. But I wish I could help more, but many of them with more serious diseases are very scared. They just, I have at least 3 people I spoke to you also, but they never came back, had cancer, and they didn't do it, and they're dead. It's sad, but they're gone. And I feel that, I wish they had come, maybe they would have been alive today and well. But they're dead. It's sad, but they're dead. It's a revolution which will take time, Danny, but it will happen. And Dr. Hammer is the chosen one, as I always say. He's chosen by God, and through his genius, the world will change and benefit. I'm quite sure.
What an extraordinary man, Shyam, and what a gift to mankind it's left behind, right? I mean, just truly extraordinary.
As I said, he was the chosen one because he could withstand everything, the pressure and everything, and he was gifted with the brilliance to learn it and discover it. Outstanding. I have to thank you and of course God and Dr. Amma for GNM. It's changed my life. It's changed my life completely.
Yeah, mine too, Shyam. I mean, extraordinarily changed my life. I mean,
and I hope that people practice it and learn it because it will change everyone's life. All their lives will change dramatically. Goodbye to medicines. It's amazing.
And goodbye to the majority of symptoms, to any problems you suffer as well, right? Because the vast majority of symptoms, you can just switch them off.
Correct.
Which sounds crazy. It sounds crazy, right? I mean, how can you go from almost being in a wheelchair
like people think,
to being running marathons in 48 hours? Yeah, I mean, it sounds crazy, right?
Imagine. I mean, it's obviously an effort because you got to use your mind. But it was your mind in the first place which caused the damn problem. So you might as well use it to undo it. Come on. You know, people would rather take medication and keep working or whatever and making money, and you know, because they want to do that. But medication is destroying you. They don't realize it.
The thing is, Shyam, I mean, when you learn this medical science, the solution with this comes much quicker than medication, right? I mean, you know, your hip you healed in like 48 hours, right? I mean, no medicine was going to make you better in 48 hours.
It's much quicker. But you know, it's a revolution, as I said, Danny, and maybe in our lives we will help 500 people, but those 500, out of those 500, maybe another 1,000. So it will take time, but it will happen. Nothing happens overnight, but it's happening. People are anyway turning to natural medicines and natural healing, not medicine. I shouldn't call it medicine. Natural healing, alternative medicine, again, probably wrong word, but alternative healing processes. So GNM is not far from, you know, but people find it so much easier. Why can't you give me a pill? But there's no pill. The pill is in your head. You know?
Yeah.
So
well,
it takes time for people to change. It will happen, Danny. It will happen. And on this day, on a day like this, we are remembering Dr. Hammer and his genius. This is the message to the world. Heal yourself. Use the magic. And be fully self-sufficient and happy. What else?
I'm absolutely delighted that you agreed to join the celebration for Dr. Hammer's birthday. I'm truly grateful for you sharing your experience and the learning journey you've gone through. I've had the pleasure of watching you go through that journey, and your speed of learning is extraordinary, and the way you've learned and applied the medical discoveries that Dr. Hammer has made has been an absolute pleasure to be able to be a part of. I'm very grateful that you have agreed to share your learning with so many other people. And on a celebration like Dr. Hammer's 87th birthday, sadly, obviously he's not here anymore, there couldn't be a better occasion for you to share your experience. I'm very grateful that you have.
No, it's my pleasure, Danny. It was a privilege to learn this from you, and this God's gift to me through you. I mean, for me, it was you. So, and I'm thinking of it. I pick up my phone every now and then because and access the websites or whatever. If I find anyone has any issue, someone tells me I'm suffering from this, immediately, just to see what could it be. And it's amazing, you even from the symptoms, you know what's going on in the person's life. It's scary. You know, you can figure out what's going on in the person's mind and probably in the person's life. And that's the best thing, actually. If you're good friends of yours and you tell them that, is this happening in your life? You get a shock. I've seen it. How do you know? I know because of GNM. So simple.
We're about to time out, Shyam. Thank you again.
I've said enough, Danny. And I'm happy that I'm part of this fabulous celebration of this great genius, Dr. Hammer.